What is the gospel? You've probably heard churches talking about the gospel. You may have heard them call themselves gospel-centered. You may have even heard them say things like, we want to share the gospel. But what is the gospel? Well, I would say the gospel is essentially three things. It is first a message, it is second a plan, and it is thirdly a person. First and foremost, the gospel is a message. The word gospel literally means good news. But to grasp that good news, we have to understand that there is some bad news. The bad news is that we have sinned. We have disobeyed God, and we stand now under his righteous condemnation. The Bible talks about there being punishment for sin. But the good news is that God hasn't simply left us in that state. The good news is that God has provided a way by which we can be made right with him again. He's provided a way by which our sin can be dealt with. He's provided a way for us to enter into a right and loving and good relationship with him again. The gospel is also a plan. The Bible talks about a plan that God the Father and God the Son made before the world began. God always intended to save a people for himself. God always intended to pay the price that sin deserved. God always intended to enter into relationship with his people. God was not simply reacting to the presence of sin. God had planned how he would deal with this problem from before he created the world. God created us so that we could enter into a relationship with him. And the gospel is the way by which he has made it possible for us to enjoy that relationship. The gospel is also centered on a single person, Jesus Christ. The Father sent his Son in the form of a man into his world that he had created. And Jesus, unlike us, lived a perfect and sinless life. He obeyed the Father perfectly in the way that we haven't and in the way that we couldn't. And then he was sent to a cross. He died and took God's wrath upon himself. He offers to stand in place of all those who've disobeyed God. And he offers to give his perfect life to those who believe in him. And he offers to take the sins of those who put their trust in him and punish them in himself, so that we no longer have to face the punishment for our sin, but we can know that relationship with God. We can know right standing with him, not because we have been good, but because Jesus has done all that needed to be done. Jesus was our substitute who stood in our place, and all that belongs to him then belongs to us, and all that was ours becomes his, and all that was his becomes ours. The gospel centers on the person of Jesus Christ. In Acts chapter 16, there is a very simple statement that one of the apostles makes, and it is a basic statement of the gospel, and it is this: believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and you will be saved.